So, Embolden number 1 says this: define truth in your own words. How would you define truth? And don't, I would wait to answer that until we've fully discussed it. I'll just write down the first thing here. Oh, I forgot to tell you something. So, um, uh, so define truth. Here's what I put. An idea, statement, or belief that is true for all people at all times and all places. So, an idea or statement or belief that is true for all people at all times and all places. There's no, if it's truth, there's no such thing that that's true for you, but it's not true for me. Because truth um, is uh, is true all the time and everywhere for everyone. That's the definition of truth. Now, there can be things that are true, but that aren't truth. We're not talking about is it true. Truth is true, but truth is absolutely true. So, an idea, statement, or belief that is true for all people at all times. And then question number 2 says, yeah, in what areas of your life do you demand truth? Yes.
I guess maybe in your religion.
Yeah, especially your religious leaders, right? You want them to lead you in the truth, to teach what is true, not to teach what is false, which is one of the reasons some of Jesus's harshest condemnations were those people at the Jews, the Jewish leadership that were leading the Jews astray, and his hardest condemnation came down for that because they were lying to them. And so, yeah, we expect truth from those who lead us spiritually. What else? What else do we demand?
From the people in our lives, like we have relationships with.
Yeah, the people we're closest to. Isn't it true that if somebody lies to you or gossips about you, it hurts more if it's someone really close to you? Because we expect those that we love the most to respect us and be truthful with us. What else? What areas do you demand truth? I'm going to see a cardiologist tomorrow. I want him to tell me the truth, right? So when we're looking at a lawyer or a doctor or the person that manages your money, then you want them to tell you the truth and take care of you or your finances or whatever it is truthfully. So we demand truth pretty much in everything. And if you've ever been lied to, especially if it was a family member or a close friend, that hurts, right? And it changes things because now you're not, they can't trust you. So we demand that truth in so many ways. So why is truth so important in life? Yes. Right, yeah. The way I put it, and this is basically what you're saying, is that without truth, trust dies. If you've ever had someone um, lie to you, the next time they say something, what are you going to think?
That's a lot.
Are you telling the truth? Is it a lie? Uh, and and so trust dies. So we 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 want the truth, even if it's difficult. We want the truth, and the Bible tells us to be truthful. It commands us to be truthful. And then the last one is what's the real reason that people reject religious and moral truth? Yes,
Maybe they feel fulfilled.
maybe, but that's not the real reason. Yeah,
Because the beliefs that the religion has doesn't fit the way that they want to live.
is the way they what?
The beliefs that the religion has doesn't fit the way that they want to live. So like, oh, that's not true.
That's right. Yeah, and you've got it. And I'm going to teach you a new word. You need to know this new word. And this is what Aviana was talking about.
Violence.
Volition. Did I get that right? Volition. Oh shoot. Volitional. Volitional. Yeah. Volitional. Yeah, that's right. Have you ever heard say someone that they did that out of their own volition? It comes from the same root word of to volunteer. Volitional means that you do that or you believe that um, by your own self, um, by um, uh, your by your free will, your own free will. Nobody's forcing you to do that. Um, if you if you get an assignment and it's due the next day, you're being commanded to do that. But if you do that assignment without the teacher asking you, you're doing that out of your own volition. That's your own choice. And so, what it says here, the question is, what's the reason that people reject religious and moral truth? And it's that they don't want to believe. They don't want to have a God over their lives for whatever reason, and they don't want to believe the truth. It's volitional, and we don't want to be convicted by the truth. We're happier to just go about our own way and do what we want to do. We don't want some telling us you shouldn't do that. And I mean, anyone ever been around a 3-year-old?
Yes.
Especially my oldest, who is hard-headed, wonderful but hard-headed. By the way, he came over. They came over for my husband's birthday the other day. And there's just times, he's a cop, by the way, he's a Douglas County sheriff. And there's times when I read something in the paper and I'm like, Josh was there. And so I asked him, I said, the woman that was in front of her house in broad daylight and she was beat up and were you part of that? He said, I was the first one. And so he has to be hard-headed and he has to be strong because that's what he does for a living, right? Um, but but when we make decisions of our own volition, then um, we are uh, doing that because that's what we want to do, whether we know it's right or wrong. We still want to do it. So I was talking about 3-year-olds, and Josh, hard-headed, 3 years old, and he's putting on his shoes, and they're not like Velcro, they're a laced shoe, and he insists that he can do it. And if you babysat a 3-year-old, you've heard this. I do it myself, but he couldn't. He couldn't. And so when we do something out of our own volition, we're doing that out of our free will. It's what we want to do, whether it's good or whether it's bad. It's not always bad, but that's what it means. Volitional means. Okay, so I think we can move on. Yep. Okay. So you were you were to read yesterday. So hopefully you did, because you need to answer these questions. So we're going to complete the quick questions 1 and 5 together as well. And then if there's time left, I'll give you time to work on reading the rest of the chapter. So so there's 3 different kinds of questions. Embolden, which just kind of gets you thinking about things. The equip is learning our questions from the reading that you'll answer. And then engage means, okay, so what do I do with this? How do I engage in this? So for question number 1 on the equip. Write down the definition of truth stated by the authors, and they gave you several of them. What was one of them?
Truth is unchanging, even our beliefs about change.
That is a truth about truth. I'm looking for a definition, but that's a truth about truth. They gave several definitions.
Truth is ever not invented.
That's a truth about truth as well.
Truth is telling it like it is.
Truth is telling it like it is. Like telling a true thing, right? Being accurate with that statement. What's another one? Yes, Alan.
I would say that which corresponds to object.
Yes, that which corresponds to its object. So what you're saying is objective, not subjective. It is true. Objective is fact. Subjective is opinion. So if it corresponds to its object, it's objective. It is true. What's another one? Yes. That's a truth about truth. This is on pages 36 to 38. That which describes an actual state of affairs. Yesterday, we had a fire drill. Did that actually happen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that corresponds to an actual state of affairs. Now, you mentioned this, and this is another truth about truth, or I mentioned it. Truth is true for everyone at all times in all places, and you need to write that down, because you will hear this over and over and over again. If truth is true, if it's true and it's true truth, right? Truth is true for everyone at all times and in all places. So there is nothing that can be true for you but not for me. You hear that so many times. What?
Unless it's like an opinion, right?
Yes, it's an opinion.
So is it true?
No, an opinion isn't truth.
Well, I mean, like when someone like says that, but they're talking about it, like the opinion, I guess.
Yeah, well, where we're headed is with Christian truth, right? And so it is. So Jesus is the Messiah. That's a true truth, right? And it doesn't matter what people think about that. Well, I don't believe that. Even if you don't believe it, it's true. Today's Tuesday, right? And if I went all day thinking it was Wednesday, and I think that was true, but I would be wrong because today's Tuesday. It can't be any other day. And you'll also learn that truth is by nature narrow. So so that's yeah, that which it describes um, an actual state of affairs. And then truth is true for everyone at all times and in all places. If it's true, it's true for everyone. And Jesus made many of these kinds of statements, gentlemen. I would much prefer that. Made many statements, and he got in trouble for it. Right? I'm in Acts and Acts 20 something, and Paul is talking to the Sanhedrin, and they tried to beat him up, but they found out that he was a Roman citizen, and then they were afraid because Rome would come down on them for them giving that treatment to a Roman citizen, and so we so that is if it's true, and he was speaking the truth, it is true for everyone, everywhere, all the time. Okay, so now there were some uh, truth statements about truth. So there are many other truths about truth. Fill in the blanks. Truth is discovered, not invented. Truth is it isn't cultural. It is trans. It's all cultures. It is for. That's the part that it says it's true for everyone, everywhere, everyone. So transculture. It doesn't matter where you live or how you've grown up and where you've grown up. If it's true for everyone at all times, at all places. Truth is unchanging, even though our beliefs about truth change. There are a lot of truth claims out there that were not believed for millennia and now are believed to be good. And but truth is unchanging. It either is or it's not. It's not. Truth does not change. Even though our beliefs about truth. What's the next one? Yeah, truth is not affected by the attitude of the one professing it. If there's somebody that's so sweet and so kind and so generous, and they're talking to you about something, but it's untrue, the fact that that person is just such a wonderful human being has nothing to do with the truth. It doesn't make it true. And the same is true if a Christian is angrily and sinfully telling the truth about the Bible or Jesus or whatever else. It's true. They may not be a very nice human being, but what they're saying is true. So it doesn't. The person professing the truth isn't, and their attitude isn't the issue. The issue is it true? And it doesn't matter whose mouth it comes out of. I mean, heaven's sakes, Jesus or not Jesus, God had a donkey talk to Balaam. And what he said was true. It doesn't change what is true. Truth is not affected by the attitude of the one professing it, and all truths are absolute truths. All truths. are absolute truth. They're true for everyone at all times and everywhere. So, number 3. What point did Dr. Geisler make in the debate with religious humanist Michael Constantine Kalenda? What was his main point in that? Yes.
The guy who was saying how for a Christian to tell everyone that that's the only way and that's the truth is very narrow-minded for them. And I think the back was like, what your beliefs that you think are the only right way, it's also narrow-minded. Like, even though he was wrong, you don't take either side, no matter what, like, truth is going to be it's not everything.
Yeah, exactly. But people will say that if it's true for you, then it's true for you. But this is true for me. But then that's not truth, because truth is by definition, is always true for everyone. So yeah, so they both made exclusive truth claims, didn't they? So Kalenda was doing the very thing that he said that Geisler was doing, because everyone holds to truth claims. Everyone believes truth claims. And a truth claim isn't necessarily true, but they believe it to be true. Again, there was a time when you believed in Santa Claus, but it wasn't true, was it? And so everyone holds to truth claims, and by nature, truth claims are narrow and exclusive. Two competing truth claims cannot be true both be true at the same time. It can't be both Tuesday and Wednesday. It might not be either of them, but it can't be Tuesday and Wednesday at the same time. By their nature, they are exclusive. So the first one is truth is discovered, not invented. The second one is that it is transcultural. It is part of all cultures. And then truth is unchanging, even though our beliefs about truth change. Truth does not. And then truth is not affected by the attitude of the one professing it. You can have somebody who is unkind and disrespectful, but if what they're saying is true, it's still true, whether or not the person is a nice human being. It's better when it's a nice human being, but it isn't always. And then all truths are absolute truths. All truths are absolute truths. All truths. Um, all truths negate whatever is opposite that. So they're all absolute truths. What did Dr. Geisler make in the debate with religious humanist Michael Constantine Kalenda? So what point did Dr. Geisler make? Oh, we did. We did. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Okay, so 4. What is a self-defeating statement?
Statement that fails to meet its own standard.
Yeah, a statement that does not meet its own standard, so it defeats itself. And um, the book itself, given on pages 38 and 39. You can go there. So, So list some examples of self-defeating statements, and then we'll use the Roadrunner tactic to refute them. So what's one of those statements? Yes.
I can't speak a word in English.
I can't speak a word in English, which you just said in English, right? So that doesn't meet the standard of not knowing English. You see that? It's self-defeating. It's a non sequitur, if you know that term. So that's one. What's another one? How about this one? You've heard this if you've been around at all. There's no such thing as absolute truth. There's no such thing as absolute truth. Which is being stated as an absolute truth. That is an absolute truth claim. To say there is no such thing as absolute truth is an absolute truth claim. So now we know, I mean, even if that was the only truth claim, and it's not a truth claim, but even if that were the only one, you can't say there isn't such a thing as absolute truth, because that one would be true. And that is what most of our culture believes. There's no such thing as absolute. Nobody has the whole truth. Each of the religions have a piece of it. But then they take those pieces that they want and say that that's the truth. So there either is truth or there's not. But to say that there is no absolute truth is to say that there is absolute truth. Because that's what it's saying. It is an absolute truth claim. So it defeats itself. Any others that you saw in there? All truth is relative, which is saying in different words that um, uh, what's true for you is true for you, and what's true for me is true for me. If it's true for all people in all times and all places. So there's no such thing as, well, that may be true for you, like Christianity may be true for you, but it's not true for me. No, Christianity is either true or it's false. And if it's true, then it is the only way. If it's not, it's of little import. And all religions make truth claims. So either they're true or they're false. There are a number of them. It goes through 44. So you're going to have probably next week. You're going to have a quiz on this one thing, a Roadrunner tactic quiz. So you need to be familiar with this. If you haven't read it, and I'm going to tell you this again, if you do not read the book, you will probably fail. That's a pretty strong statement. But it is not written for teenagers. It's written for adults. And it's deep stuff. So if you're not going to read it, you're going to have a really, really hard time with this. So you're going to have a quiz on this very thing, where you not only write out the self-defeating statement. I'll give you some, but you explain why it's self-defeating. So that's the reason we're doing this now, so that you understand that you can by a self-defeating statement when you see it, and you can refute it. So that will be part of that. That would be what the quiz is. So one more. No, I just went through 5. I was only going through 5. So we'll stop there, and we'll be done for today. Thank you.
It's